you know, Adam, we're based in San Francisco doing a show about myths. So obviously we have to tackle the myth about the escape from Alcatraz.
That 3 prisoners in 1962 built a raft out of raincoats and got off the island?
Yeah. Did they actually do it? Was it successful? Where did they go?
Some living history will help their cause.
That's the raincoat.
So this fabric now is very fragile. If I tried to unroll it, it would deteriorate, it would fall apart.
This brittle old raincoat was actually part of the escapees' raft. For some reason, they left it behind on the cell block roof. It's kept in archives at the Maritime Museum and may yet give up a few secrets.
And you can definitely see the glue on the edge of the seam here, contact cement.
The tiniest hints will help them make their own raft more authentic.
Yeah, it definitely looks, like a military-style raincoat that I've seen.
2 paddles were also recovered.
Look at that, that's the real thing.
It actually kind of sent chills up my spine to see these things. You know, there was somebody in a dark kind of alcove somewhere out there on Alcatraz that was secretly pulling these materials together and building this stuff, and we actually, you know, handled it.
They've reached back 40 years to touch the myth. But can they get their hands on the right materials today?
Well, that's the American one.
Like, as long as we scuff it up with a little sandpaper,
Yeah.
contact cement ought to hold all the stuff. That feels much better. I'd say we did pretty good in there.
Everything we need.
And a bunch of stuff we don't.
Back at the shop, it's down to work. First, the easy part, making the paddles based on FBI drawings.
One prison escape paddle. Jamie, you want to come over here and bend over? Maybe we could have a little prison hazing ritual. Whack!
There's a bigger pain in the backside ahead. Now our wannabe jailbirds have to make the raft.
I actually am feeling really confident about how this boat's going to do. Of course, the very next cut in the show will be us, like, flailing in the bay in the dark, freezing and screaming.
They might not even get that far. 2 seconds into construction, and they've discovered their raincoats are PVC, not rubber.
No. Stuff isn't remotely airtight.
The plan is coming apart at the seams.
It's a totally different material. At this point, it looks like I'm not getting off the island. I'm gonna have to finish this life sentence.
Turns out the right stuff is almost never used anymore. But Jamie tracks them down. It's delivered direct to the big house.
This, I swear, this is exactly what they used on the Alcatraz one.
It's going to be a rainwear massacre. The plan is to first cut them into equal panels. Morris and the Anglins used more than 50 coats.
We are on our way to Alcatraz.
According to the FBI, the escapees had access to contact cement in the prison workshop. Jamie and Adam will use the same stuff to glue the panels together into long sheets.
What I was thinking of doing was basically something like this.
Folding it over, okay.
Yeah, see? So you do glue, 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 a half-inch
Why
lap.
don't we compromise and make it like 2 inches?
Why do you want to do a smaller one?
Because it just is, it's like, it's not really going to help us any.
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
It's insurance. I have to insist on this one. It's absolute insurance. You know, it just, it
Make it 2 inches. That's like double what you need.
All right.
And so we'll just each take a table.
To make sure the raft is airtight, each seam needs to be glued, dried, and compressed together. The real escapees did this in the dark and silently.
Wait, was that a guard? No. Yeah, check it out, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 5. We're just over 6 feet here. I'm a little worried. It looks a little too good. And it's almost going to be like, no, we swear it was raincoats.
Hey.
The fact that they even made something that was remotely inflatable for a period of time, got it up the roof through the blower, down to the shore and into the water is astounding.
If they get this done, it'll be quite an achievement for the MythBusters, too.
My calibrated eyeball detects no leaks whatsoever. Dude, that's a boat. I'm really impressed with these prison guys. Come on, get in. Hurry up, they're coming.
The last step is to build in the floor. Just a thin skin of raincoat between them and the sharks.
Lower your end a little bit.
You drew the line, so you have a good idea about where the whole deal sits, yeah?
Just do it one a section at a time.
It's gonna wrinkle.
Yeah.
They're nearly done. Just a last check for leaks.
There's one. See that? That's a leak.
And a rousing sea shanty to get in the mood.
Oh my God.
According to the FBI, the gang modified an accordion to pump up their raft. As always with these instruments, silence was golden.
I am your father.
Using a ping pong ball, Jamie engineers an ingenious one-way valve so the thing will blow air in but not suck it out again.
Works beautifully.
That's pretty good.
It's working.
Yeah.
It took 30 raincoats, but the MythBusters have their raft. They're ready to use it to escape the rock.
Based on the information that we have, I think the raft is very similar to what they had on Alcatraz.
I give us a 60% chance of making it, 20% chance of immediate catastrophic failure, and 20% slow descent into the depths of hell.
Hell will have to wait. It'll be a few days before the tide is right to make their attempt. Of course, there were 3 in the real escape attempt, so young Will Abbott has been drafted from the workshop to be their partner in crime. Will's about Frank Morris's weight. He'll wear a buoyant wetsuit so he can immediately help the guys if things go wrong.
Just so that we can communicate for emergency situations, this means I need help. This is not hello.
Okay.
This means I'm okay, everything's all right. All right?
The guys will also wear strobe locator lights.
Well, we'll get you a battery on that just as soon as we can.
That'd be a good idea.
On the northwest edge of Alcatraz, the tide is rushing out at more than 3 knots. The water just over 60 degrees. The wind about 5 knots. Those conditions are very similar to what faced Morris and the Anglins. And remember, they are presumed to have drowned.
Dead or alive, I imagine that the 3 escapees would get a kick out of the fact that we are getting into a boat and retracing their steps for an entertainment show.
I can only imagine what the convicts were saying when this was occurring. I guess nobody will ever know. But I'm pretty sure they weren't talking about how nice the view was.
They're in position just off the spot where the escapees took their chances. Like them, the MythBusters have no idea if their raincoat raft will float.
You and me, 4 and a half with Will in the middle. That puts the lightest weight at the highest.
Okay, we're in the
weakness.
same.
It's cold, it's dark, and it's time to go.
Got it? Got it. Hey, go, Jamie. It's all you, buddy. Oh, Jamie. You're the man, baby.
The raft's passed its first test. It's holding Jamie's weight.
Here I go, Jamie. Here I come. Oh, yeah. We're taking on water. Okay.
Okay, I'll take that. I got it.
I got 1 paddle.
Okay, we're off.
3. Here we are. We're escaping!
Somewhere around here, no doubt, Morris and the Anglins celebrated too. They'd escaped Alcatraz. But what lay ahead?
I have no idea where we are.
Adam, Jamie, and Will are paddling across the tide. If they've miscalculated, the current will sweep them under the Golden Gate Bridge and out to sea.
I can't see Alcatraz because there's some damn big boat in the view. Our legs are falling asleep.
The raft is getting weaker. Every 10 minutes they have to add more air. And the tidal rip is getting rougher. Did the same waves sink the escapees? No signs of them were ever found on land. But the water gave up clues.
The most important thing was a packet of photographs. Also, there were 9 slips of paper with names and addresses of people they were going to contact. Now, unless you're in a life or death situation, you're not going to let go of that bag.
Hey Adam, we can see Alcatraz straight behind us right now. Wow! We've come quite a ways, haven't we?
We have.
After about 40 minutes, they're closing in on the bridge and the shore. If the real escapees made it this far, their spirits would be starting to lift by now too.
This is so cool!
It seemed impossible, but the MythBusters are almost there, paddling a raincoat raft more than 3 miles across a rushing tide, making landfall just east of the Golden Gate Bridge.
We made it!
If the escapees came ashore here, they'd stepped lightly ever since. There were no stolen cars, no phone calls home. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers disappeared without trace.
Beautiful, man.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, good job. Good job, Dan. Given a reasonable amount of intelligence, I think it's entirely possible that they made it. Again, I think the most damning evidence that they didn't is the fact that no one's heard from them since.
Unless they find any specific evidence that these guys, lived happily ever after or something after they got ashore, we won't know whether it was true or not. But we know that it could have been done, which is cool.
So, Jamie, what are we working on? Why are there ducks pooping all over your desk?
Well, the myth is that a duck's quack does not echo.
That sounds kind of simple.
Well, I guess we'll figure out a way of making it complicated, won't we?
Meet Bob on the left and Roy.
And going in from this
All right,
side.
you go down that side. I'll walk him down this way.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
That wasn't so bad.
All right.
So, now they need a man who can catch an echo. That would be him now. Roger Schwenke is an acoustician.
Roger, have you heard the myth about whether a duck's quack echoes?
I have heard that myth. Mostly I see it in these lists of factoids and jokes that you get in email. So one of the challenges I have for you is we're going to use a tie-clip mic as the trigger mic to start the recording, and we need to attach that to the duck.
Duct tape.
That microphone acts as a trigger. It'll hear Bob quack and switch on the main mic a few yards away. That will record the initial quack, then listen for echoes bouncing back. The whole shooting match plotted by a computer.
You know what happens to ducks that don't cooperate, huh?
Yeah. Got it.
That was a test. You can see the initial shot from the starter's pistol is the peak on the left, and the smaller bumps after it are the echoes coming back. The system works. Now, for the ducks.
I'll tell you guys to be quiet because any sound will start the computer recording, and then you need to silently induce the duck to quack.
Can you quack? Look me in the eye and quack. Quack. Come on, boy. Quack. Quack.
All right, see if they're ready.
Are you guys ready?
Don't mess with me, duck. When I say quack, you're gonna quack, right? I'm the boss here. Don't give me any beak.
Quiet.
Give them the thumbs up.
It's like he's trying to collect a loan from the Duck Loan Collection Agency. We want to talk to you about some outstanding feed.
I want you to do this. Got it? Quack. Quack, damn you.
Done.
I'm gonna swap him out with the other one.
All right, I'll bring him over to you.
Bob's out. Roy's in. But a funny thing happens in the changeover.
Oh, maybe that may
Okay.
be bringing them together.
Yeah.
They just needed someone to talk to. The MythBusters are back in the hunt.
That looks like a quack.
Astonishing how well that works.
There's something else astonishing. They've got the quack, but they don't have an echo. Not a one.
In terms of trees and plants and so on, you don't get very much of an echo, certainly not off of leaves.
Roger thinks if there were any echoes, the background noise drowned them out.
Sweetheart.
To prove that, and bust this silly myth once and for all, Bob and Roy will have to go hi-fi.
Okay, that's really cool.
Meyer Sound makes top-of-the-range concert speakers. Roger's their staff scientist.
Hi, guys.
They plan 2 experiments at the lab. First, to capture a crystal-clear quack with no echo. Then, they'll record Bob and Roy in a room that does echo. The computer should show if there's a difference. To get the clear quack, they'll use an anechoic chamber. It absorbs echoes by trapping sound vibrations in baffles on the walls and ceiling.
All right, let's take them into the chamber.
I noticed there's a hole in the screen. Maybe I can goose the duck.
Quack!
Nothing.
Jamie, I have an idea. We get underneath the platform and we stay there for like a full minute or two, and then we both pop up on both sides of them. Anything? Nothing. Nothing at all. Not a peep.
It's all starting to look like a high-tech waste of time. When, for no apparent reason, Bob and Roy get chatty.
Got something.
It's a pristine quack. And it turns out there is something different about it after all.
Well, I never, he's saying.
It's a series of exponentially decaying impulses, which looks almost exactly like room reverberation.
Its echo might actually sound just like its quack. It might blend together for you.
Time to crank up the second experiment in the echoey room. Hopefully the computer can tell the difference.
You ready to quack for science?
Okay, quiet please. Go. Got it.
You did really, really good.
Good job.
No, you did excellently.
Okay, so you want to see our quacks? So here's the duck quack that we recorded, and I think this initial part here is the quack.
Yo, well, does that mean it echoes?
You know what? It's just hard to tell.
Really?
The reverberation looks just like the quack.
Roger knows the echo is there somewhere.
Got it.
And sure enough, he finds what he's looking for.
This series of decaying impulses is the reverberation, definitely the echo.
Definitely the echo.
Myth busted.
Don't be so hasty. MythBusters, let's go home. See ya.
Where were all those quacks when we needed them? This one comes fresh off the net. The writer of this myth claims that he had had a chip embedded in him while visiting his local hospital. And he was so afraid of this, that this was some kind of mind control chip, and he wanted to check for it. So he went to the local Home Depot and he got a stud finder. And he ran the stud finder over his arm. And sure enough, right there, he detected both electrical activity and metal.
It sounds like something that might be right out of a science fiction novel.
Chuck designs and makes stud finders.
Well, Chuck, can you give me a demonstration about how the stud finder actually works?
You bet. Let's see what happens. I'm going to place the unit against the wall. Let's turn it on. Now I'm going to slide it, and as I approach the stud, there's the first edge.
All right.
The finder uses an electrical field to detect wooden studs, metal beams, and wiring hidden behind the surface.
There must be some metal back there.
But can it find a mind control chip buried in someone's arm?
If there were metal embedded under the flesh, in metal sensing mode, again, if the metal were large enough and not too deep, we could certainly sense that.
Jamie's making a builder's nightmare. A wall with more studs than a Saturday night, wiring in between, and a sprinkling of microchips.
So I'm supposed to use these things to try and find the wood, the metal, the conduit, and the microchips, hopefully? This is like a big grown-up version of Battleship. That's cool. You're messing with me. I'm trying to work it out, but I'm not happy about it.
Adam's map is pretty close, but he still hasn't found a microchip. And there's a nasty black hole top left.
Come on around and check
Can I
it
come
out.
check it out? Interesting. It's funny that, like, yeah. That's it. That's what I couldn't see.
And you didn't pick up any of the chips as far as I can tell at all.
No, none of these showed up as a hot spot.
There's too little metal in a chip to show up through a wall. But Adam's hoping they can be detected through flesh. This gel replicates human tissue.
P.U. That's rank. Woo! I'd really like to see someone come across this and try and piece together for themselves why it exists. It does seem to be picking up this chip over here. They're definitely picking up, hints of the chips. Some of them pick them up better than others, and the bone.
But stud finders are designed for use on solid walls. Wobbly flesh gives plenty of false readings.
No, we're just trying to find the vein. It's almost there. Are you okay? Want some juice?
What the guys really need is some practice looking for chips under living flesh. Microchipping seems far-fetched, but responsible pet owners have been doing it for years.
And the idea behind the microchip is to make a kind of permanent identification of that animal that can't get lost or worn away like a tag could.
These tiny chips act like barcode. They're read with a radio frequency scanner. The ID number is registered to the owner.
Is it possible to actually exert like a radio frequency on this chip to control the mind of the animal? Like you could push the stop ripping the curtains button and the don't pee in the corner button?
Free of mind control, Bethany the dog is being chipped today. She's kindly agreed to also let the MythBusters scan her. The chip is inserted with a hypodermic needle.
And the needle goes in. Once the microchip is placed, we want to make sure that it still works. And so we'll use the scanner to scan right over that area, and we get the unique identification number again.
That's great.
Getting a little blip, actually, right over the site.
There you go.
I think I found it. Yeah, right about there. Yeah.
Jamie and Adam are ready to spring their surprise back at the Red Cross.
We want to make sure that we're starting out with no mind control devices embedded in our arms already. So we're going to use a stud finder. Here you go, Jamie. A little sting. Here we go. That's not so bad. I don't notice anything at all. I feel perfectly normal now.
Everything feels great. Life is good. The world is in perfect order.
That's Adam's mind in normal, out-of-control mode. And any attempt by the government to bring it some order seems to have failed. Those stud finders aren't finding anything.
It would seem that their technology is far more advanced than I previously suspected, and that I'm riddled with microchips.
Or maybe there are none. What do you think?
That's right, that is a third option. Didn't even occur to me. So you categorically deny it?
I do categorically deny that there is anything left behind when you make a blood donation. I would think that if we were actually somehow controlling people, we probably wouldn't have a shortage, because the first thing we might do is encourage them to come in more often.
I really think that's one of the sillier myths that we could have run across.
I think we should look for a couple more interesting myths to dispel, so, hopefully more people will do this.
The MythBusters have come through with minds intact, a giving glow, and myth busted.